I am Anand and you are watching Joint for Education. Today I am going to discuss about reproduction in organism. We try to understand definition of reproduction. What is the reproduction? This is one of the most important topic of biology. Let's develop the colors. If we put at a balance in the given figure, then we try to understand what is the lifespan of these animals or plants. So we try to understand uh, each and every organism can live only for a certain period of time. The period from birth to the natural death of an organism represents its lifespan. Lifespan of a few organisms are given in figure. Several other organisms are drawn for each. You should find out their lifespan and write in the species provided. Examine the lifespan of organism represented in the figure. Isn't it both interesting and intriguing to note that it may be as short as few days or as long as a few thousand years? Between these two extremes are the lifespan of most other living organisms. You may note that lifespan of organisms are not uh, span so a wide difference. Similarly, a mango tree has a much shorter life span as compared to a peepal tree. Whatever be the life span, death of every individual organism is certainty. Example for no individual is immortal except single-celled organism. Why do we say there is no natural death in single-celled organism? Given this reality, have you ever wondered how vast number of plant and animal species have existed on the earth for several thousands of years? There must be some process in living organism that ensured this certainty. Yes, we are talking about reproduction, something that we take for granted. So we try to understand what is the lifespan of element, what is the lifespan of roach, and what is the lifespan of dog, and what is the lifespan of butterfly. According to the textbook, the lifespan of the butterfly is 1 to 2 weeks. What is the lifespan of the crow? Then it is 15 years. What is the lifespan of a banana tree? What is the lifespan of cow? What is the lifespan of parrot? According to here written 100 and this is the 40 years. So what is the lifespan of crocodile? It is just around 60 years. What is the lifespan of horse? What is the lifespan of fruit fly? And what is the lifespan of rice plant? And what is the lifespan of tortoise? It is just around 100 to 150 years. And what is the lifespan of banyan tree? So the lifespan of banyan tree is more than 1000 or 1000, at least 1000 years. So the lifespan of the different animals are different, and different organisms, we say here different organisms are different. So the lifespan of the crow is 15 years, whereas the lifespan of the parrot is 140 years. So if we put at a balance, then the natural life, it means that birth to death, the period between birth to death is said to be the lifespan. So it is very interesting. So we try to understand here what is the reproduction, and we try to introduce reproduction. Then reproduction is defined as a biological process in which an organism gives rise to young ones. And this one is also known as the offspring. Similar to itself, the offspring grow, mature, and in turn produce new offspring. Thus, there is a cycle of birth, growth, and death Reproduction enables the certainty of the species generation after generation. You will study later in this chapter or this topic. So how genetics variation is created and inherited during reproduction. So we see here there is a large diversity in the biological world, and each organism has evolved its own mechanism to multiply and produce offspring. The organism's habitat, its internal physiology, and several other factors are collectively responsible for how it reproduces, based on whether there is participation of one organism or two in the process of reproduction. It is of two types. When offspring is produced by a single parent with or without the involvement of gamete formation, the reproduction is asexual. So this is the definition of the asexual reproduction. It means that when offspring is produced by a single parent with or without the involvement of the gamete formation, the reproduction is asexual. When two parents, opposite sex, participate in the reproductive process and also involve fusion of the male and female gametes, it is called sexual reproduction. We try to write here. Let's see here. Reproduction is defined as, I am going to write here, reproduction is defined as a biological process in which an organism gives rise to young ones. This one is also known as the offspring or offspring, similar to itself. So the offspring grow, mature, and turn produce new offspring. Thus there is a cycle of birth, growth, and death. Reproduction enables the continuity of the species. There is large diversity in the biological world, and each organism has evolved its own mechanism to multiply and produce offspring. The organism's habitat its internal physiology, several other factors are collectively responsible for how it reproduce based on weather, there is participation of one organism or two in the process of production. Each of two types when a spring is by a single parent with or without the involvement of gamete formation. The reproduction is asexual when two parents or opposite sex participate in the reproductive process and also involve fusion of male and female gametes. It is called sexual reproduction. So this is the written statement of the introduction of reproduction. We try to understand reproduction is defined as biological process in which organism gives rise to young ones of offspring similar to itself. So here we have no problem to understand what is the reproduction. The offspring, here this is the property or character of the offspring. The offspring grow, mature and turn produce new offspring. Thus there is a cycle of birth, growth and death. If we put here, reproduction enables the continuity of the species. There is large diversity in the biological world and each organism has evolved its own mechanism to multiply and produce offspring. So we see here the organism habitat its internal physiology and several other factors are collectively responsible for how it reproduces. That is based on whether there is participation of one organism or two in the process of reproduction. It is of the two types. So according to this one, we have two types of reproduction, and the first one is known as the asexual reproduction and second one is known as the sexual reproduction. So if we put here, when offspring is produced by a single parent with or without the involvement of gamete formation, the production is called asexual or asexual reproduction. It means that here if we put here with or without with when offspring is produced by a single parent with or without the involvement of the gametes formation, the reproduction is asexual. In other hand, when two parents or opposite sex participate in the reproductive process and also involve fusion of male and female gamete, it is called sexual reproduction. So this is a simple details about the introduction of reproduction. Let's try to teach a statement in Hindi. Then in Hindi, this one will be in this way. We try to understand this one in Hindi. तो प्रत्येक जीव कुछ निश्चित समय तक ही जीवित रह सकता है। जीवों में जन्म से उसकी प्राकृतिक मृत्यु तक का यह काल उस जीव की जीवन अवधि या लाइफ स्पेन होता है। यहाँ पर अलग अलग लाइफ स्पेन पर हम लोग चर्चा किए कि एलिफेंट का लाइफ स्पेन क्या है, रोज का लाइफ स्पेन क्या है, डॉग का लाइफ स्पेन क्या है, ये आपका बटरफ्लाई का लाइफ स्पेन क्या है। तो 1 से 2 सप्ताह इसका लाइफ स्पेन होता है। क्रो या कौवा का लाइफ स्पेन क्या है, तो इसका लाइफ स्पेन आपका 15 साल होता है। बनाना ट्री का लाइफ स्पेन क्या है, गाय का या काऊ का लाइफ स्पेन क्या है, पैरोट का लाइफ स्पेन 140 ईयर्स होता है। ठीक उसी तरह से आपका क्रोकोडाइल का लाइफ स्पेन क्या है, तो ये 60 ईयर होता है। टोर्टोइज का लाइफ स्पेन क्या है, तो आपका 100 to 150 ईयर्स होता है। ये बरगद का लाइफ स्पेन क्या है, तो इसका लाइफ स्पेन हजारों वर्ष होता है। सो यहाँ पर हम लोग देखते हैं कि अलग अलग ये मतलब विविधताएं आती है और बड़ा ही मतलब समझने के लिए विवश कर देती है कि हमारे यहाँ जो ऑर्गेनिज्म या जीव है उनकी लाइफ स्पेन में ये डाइवर्सिटी इस तरह का क्यों। तो फिर हम लोग यहाँ पर ये ट्राई करते हैं, ये समझने का ट्राई करते हैं कि आपका रिप्रोडक्शन क्या है, रिप्रोडक्शन को परिचय करने का प्रयास करते हैं। तो अगर इसको परिचय देते हैं तो यहाँ पर होता है कि जीवों में जनन यह एक विज्ञानीय प्रक्रम के रूप में परिभाषित किया है। जीवों में जिसमें एक जीव अपने समान छोटे से जीव को जन्म देता है, संतति में वृद्धि होता है, उनमें परिपक्वता आती है तथा उसके बाद नई संतति को जन्म देती है। इस प्रकार जन्म वृद्धि तथा मृत्यु चक्र चलता रहता है। तो जनन प्रजाति में एक पीढ़ी दूसरे पीढ़ी में निरंतर बनाए रखती है। जीव विज्ञानीय संसार में व्यापक विविधताएं पाई जाती है तथा प्रत्येक जीव अपने को बहुगुणित करने तथा संतति उत्पन्न करने के लिए अपनी ही विधि विकसित करती है। जीव किस प्रकार से जनन करता है, उसके वास, उसकी आंतरिक शारीरिक क्रिया, विज्ञान तथा अन्य कई कारक सामूहिक रूप से उत्तरदायी है। जनन प्रक्रिया 2 प्रकार की होती है, जो एक अथवा 2 जीवों के बीच भागीदारी पर आधारित रहती है। जब संतति की उत्पत्ति एकल जनक द्वारा युग्मक निर्माण के भागीदारी के साथ अथवा उनकी अनुपस्थिति में हो तो वह जनन अलैंगिक कहलाता है। और जब 2 जनक विपरीत लिंग वाले जनन प्रक्रिया में भाग लेते हैं तथा नर और मादा युग्मक में युग्मन होता है तो यह लैंगिक जनन कहलाता है। तो ये एक प्रकार का छोटा सा व्याख्यान था जो आपका रिलेटेड था इंट्रोडक्शन ऑफ रिप्रोडक्शन से। एंड होप दैट दिस डिटेल्स और ब्रीफ will be useful to all students who are studying in class 12 or aspirant of NEET and also all audience who are interested in biology। तो ये व्याख्यान एक छोटा सा व्याख्यान था जो कक्षा 12 में पढ़ने वाले सभी विद्यार्थियों के लिए उपयोगी होगा और नीट की जो परीक्षा लिख रहे हैं उसके लिए भी ये उपयोगी हो और जीव विज्ञान से रुचि रखने वाले श्रोताओं के लिए भी यह उपयोगी होगा, ऐसा अपेक्षा रखते हैं। और इसको इंट्रोडक्शन ऑफ रिप्रोडक्शन को मैं ओवर करता हूँ। हमारी अगली जो ऑडियो वीडियो लेक्चर होगी जो बायोलॉजी से ही होगी और आपका ये होगा एसेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन से रिलेटेड होगा या अलैंगिक जनन से रिलेटेड होगा। तब तक के लिए मैं आनंद आप लोगों से विदा चाहता हूँ और मेरे अगले ऑडियो वीडियो को वेट कीजिए, ये थोड़ा सा लंबा हो गया है। ऑफ दैट आप कंप्लीट देखेंगे और ये आपके लिए लाभदायक होगा। वन सेकेंड, आई थैंक्स टू ऑल ऑफ यू, थैंक यू वेरी मच।